We dance as the city roars. Tune in loud, turn up some more. Cincinnati show, it's time to play. Sports with strawberry ice today. 5:30 sharp, don't be late. CTV, the sports awaits. Strawberry icy's on the mic, energy, it's pure delight. Every touchdown, every goal. Feel the pulse, it's in your soul. Cincinnati heartbeats strong. Strawberry ice will lead the throng. Every touchdown, every goal. Feel the pulse, it's in your soul. Cincinnati heartbeats strong. Strawberry ice will lead the throng. Feel the crowd, it's electric now. Shouting loud, they all know how. CTV got what we crave. Sports with ice, it's waves and waves. Tigers strike and Bengals roar. Every game we want some more. Tune it in and feel the thrill. Strawberry ice, he's giving chills. 5:30 sharp, don't be late. CTV, the sports awaits. Strawberry ice, he's on the mic, energy, it's pure delight.
Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to the show. This is Sports with Strawberry Ice. I'm your host, Iceman Jeff Trunapole, and as always, I bring you sports from a West Side point of view right here in the great city of Cincinnati, Ohio. And as always, I'm coming to you live from the Ice Cave, and the Ice Cave is brought to you by Priority Lawn and Landscaping. You guys got lawns you don't want to cut. You got multiple properties you don't want to cut. You got, I don't know, mulch you want to buy, you want to spread out, you want to get them to do it, paper patios, anything related to lawn and landscaping. Do me a favor, think Priority Lawn and Landscaping. Actually, don't think it. Call them at 513-430-6114. That's 513-430-6114. You can also follow them on Facebook. I always recommend that because you can see the project that they do. And when you message Johnny on Facebook or call him, tell him you heard about it from Sports with Strawberry Ice. Oh, yeah, we got this. Celebrity Softball. I want to put this out there. If you guys want to go watch me, hopefully not make a fool out of myself, get your tickets for the Celebrity Softball Classic, the 35th Celebrity Softball Classic, July 17th at the Florence Y'alls. I got to say Y'alls. I keep wanting to say Freedom. It's the Florence Y'alls baseball stadium. First pitch is at 7:30, July 17th. Be there, be square. Let's go have some fun. What's up to everybody in the chat? We've got to scroll back up here. Who's in there first? Stranger's in there first. Brad's in there. Paul's in there. My three guys that are consistently in there, and I appreciate you guys being there. I really do. Tony Blaze is in there. Tebow is in there. All right, guys, boys and girls. So I have titled this, Is Chase Brown a top 10 running back? Bengals OC Dan Pitcher thinks so. I kind of wanted to talk about this. He said this last week in his press conference, and I think it's a pretty good, interesting topic to discuss. Now, my question for you guys, is he a top 10 running back now, or is he on the verge of becoming one? But to help me with that discussion, we have the one and only. He just got off of Space. I was just talking to him on a Space right before this started. And I usually don't get on Spaces, but this was actually pretty good Space. So shout out to everybody who's in the Space. But he is the one, the only. He is Game. Oh!
What up, Ice? How we doing, bud?
What's going on, brother? How are you?
Just an awesome time over here, man. I mean, we just got off of Space on Jamar Chase, and now we're talking Chase Brown.
Exactly.
I'm ready.
Exactly. Now, I do want to kind of get back to that Reds talk with Ellie eventually. But let's talk about Chase Brown here. I thought it was really interesting and a very encouraging that Dan Pitcher literally said he thinks Chase Brown's a top 10 running back. That bodes well for this season, this offense. I think he stepped up big time last year when Zach Moss got injured. I think our running back room is probably the best it's been since Joe Burrow's been here. We got P-Ron back. We got Taj Brooks. I don't know what we're going to get with Zach Moss. But I think the running back room in general is pretty good. But we're talking about Chase Brown here. Do you think he's a top 10 running back right now? You said something in the Space that you had an argument that some people say he might be top 5. What do you got?
Top 5. That's crazy. I think it's crazy to say top 5.
Yeah, I agree with that.
With the snap share that we've seen thus far, 1354. That's how many yards he had last year. 900 yards on the ground. Very efficient, 4.4 yards per carry. 11 touchdowns. The dude was spectacular last year, and I don't know how you could watch him and not think he is a top 10 running back in the league. You pretty much got the production that you had with Mixon in the year prior for a lot less. And the guy, I mean, he has room for growth. Nice. He just started catching the football last offseason.
So this is the stats from last year. In 16 games, he accumulated 990 yards rushing on 229 attempts with 7 rushing touchdowns. Also recorded 360 yards receiving and 4 receiving touchdowns, total of 1,350 yards from scrimmage.
Yeah,
that's pretty good. I mean, for a guy that wasn't your starter, got thrown into it, and I think did pretty well.
Yeah, man. The one thing that I talked about, 2 things for Chase Brown last season, right? In the offseason, he was working on his pass catching ability. That paid huge dividends for the Bengals offense last season. When Zach Moss went down, he was such a weapon as a receiver. How many big plays did you see Chase Brown make through just receiving?
Right.
So many. And then on top of that, they said, okay, well, we can't trust him as a pass blocker. He was a really good pass block protector for Burrow back there.
Yep.
And gave them everything that they needed and more. So Chase Brown, to me, he's the total package. I think everybody expects him to play and have a lot of snap share this season.
Yeah, I was listening to, I always say, let's listen to a podcast. I don't remember which one it was, but somebody compared him to James Brooks. Now, Game On, I don't know if you were around for James Brooks. I was. James Brooks was a badass. He was unbelievable running the ball and catching out of the backfield. And that's Chase Brown. I think I'm not going to say he's going to be James Brooks, but he's that same running back, that same type. So I'm very excited. Now, I want to see what we get out of Taj Brooks and P. Ryan. I'm really excited about Taj Brooks, too. And it's going to get some comments up here. Michael Madden says, I want to see how the O-line run blocks. I agree with that. They got to run block better. And that starts with our guards. I mean, to be honest, and that's why I'm excited about Fairchild and, well, Rivers is what I'm really excited about, but I don't think he's going to be the guard right now. But we'll see what we get with Cody Ford and I always forget the other guy's name.
Lucas Patrick.
Can't I remember his name? Go ahead, talk about Lucas Patrick.
Well, he's got 2 first names.
Yeah, I know. It should be easy to remember.
So from what I've heard about Lucas Patrick, and I watched a little bit of film, but the Saints fans were saying he was one of the better offensive linemen that they had. They felt like when he's next to an offensive lineman that's really good in what he does, Lucas Patrick shines, right? When he's next to guys that, they're really shaky, he will be really shaky. So it kind of goes as the offensive line goes. And if that's the case, and really it's all just about health, man. Gotta stay healthy.
Yeah.
Very first practice, having a knee brace, having to be taken off the field.
Yeah.
Something to that. We need this guy to stay healthy.
And the thing is, if you say he plays up to the guys next to it, if Mims takes that step, which I think he's going to, and Orlando Brown can stay healthy, because I love Orlando Brown, but it kills me. He never missed a game until he got here to Cincinnati last year, and this year he's missed games. But if our tackles stay healthy, our tackles are going to be elite. And then if they play up to how our tackles are, dude, it's going to be, I think, it's June 19th. Happy Juneteenth, everybody out there. It's June 19th. Right now, I think it's going to be a good offensive line. We'll see what happens when the pads get put on.
Yeah, and don't forget about Ted Karras, man. He had he was one of the top 10 centers in the league last year, playing next to the most dud of dud guards, left and right. Imagine being able to have a top 10 season when both of the guys next to you are screwing up constantly.
Exactly.
I mean, just to get even an average to below average guy with a level of competence that allows you to do your job a lot better, that's only going to pay dividends to your offensive line. And so I think Patrick can get to the second level, and I've seen Fairchild get to the second level.
I'm not too worried about Fairchild, but
yeah, and if that's the case, I mean, this offense and this run game should be a lot better than what we saw last year.
Yeah, exactly. Brad here says the Bengals need to use the running game. If Chase gives us the production the Bengals will be unstoppable. And I agree with that. And this is the thing that I hope that they do more. Like last year, and Zac Taylor has done this throughout his coaching career, is they throw the ball a ton, which I don't have a problem with that. But when you have the lead in the fourth quarter and you need a long, sustained drive to run the clock out, run the damn ball.
Right.
And it's been hard because our offensive line hasn't been consistent enough in blocking. That's why I'm always like, they haven't been able to consistently block it. And like Callahan said this a couple years ago, we can run when we get blocked. Is what Callahan would say when he was the OC. Now, hopefully this run with the new offense coordinator or offensive line coach and our new guards, because the running game starts with up front, obviously, and it's really with the guards because you want to start running it inside and then move out. So you got to get the guard play there. If they can get consistency in this run game, just consistent. He almost got 1,000 yards from running. Well, 990. Let's put the thing up there. If he can get 1,000, that would be awesome. But the biggest thing for me is the times of when he does it. We need at the end of games to finish these games out that we didn't win last year. Because yes, a lot of these games we lost, the defense blew it. But there's a couple times where the offense didn't finish a drive, and Joe has talked about that. That's where he said we got to get better. Which I agree with him. Getting better to me is handing the ball off and talk to Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning took forever to finally trust a running game. And hopefully Joe can trust it enough, and Dan Pitcher and Zac Taylor can trust it enough to go be consistent when you need it. That's
right.
The one thing, in my opinion, that's missing in this offense is a consistent, not dominant, consistent running game.
In the short yardage, right?
Yes.
Third and short, we were terrible last year.
You got to get a first down. Just
bottom five in the NFL in terms of getting a first down on third and short, 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2. We just didn't utilize the running back enough in those spots, and when we did, we didn't succeed. Right. And so that's why Perine's back, man. Yeah. I mean, he's gonna and while Taj Brooks is eventually, I think, gonna be in the fold. I think at the start of it, maybe the first 5 to 6 weeks, I think you'll see Perine out there. I think he'll be the one that kind of solves that short yardage issue that you have, and he's a tremendous pass blocker on top of that. So he'll be able to give Joe Burrow a little bit more time than maybe what a Chase Brown or, maybe what a Zach Moss would give him.
Yeah, and the thing is, every guy we have in that running back room, they all can pass block. And I don't know how many times I talked about that. That's almost as important as being able to see the hole and get the first down for this offense, because we pass it so much. That was the one problem when you put Mixon in there. You kind of thought it was going to be a run. Mixon, because he wasn't a very good pass blocker. So those are all upgrades from what we had before. We get to Dustin's comment here. I'm talking about the guard here. So I think there's a chance they'll still pick up a guard in training camp when cuts come. Actually, the Bengals are good on the waiver wires. Isaiah Williams, Mo Williams. I think it depends on who's cut and how the right guard competition is going. Now, I'm not saying you're wrong, Dustin. I mean, I don't know if they're actually there. I don't think they're playing. Oh yeah, right now they're gonna look, but it depends on how that right guard goes. If he's Cody Ford, like I said, for me, I thought Cody Ford would win this job, but the best thing for the Bengals is Cody Ford to not win this job. Be able to be that swing guy, have him and Rivers back there who can play damn near every position, and have Patrick be able to take that right guard spot. And like I said, hopefully eventually, maybe next year or two, Rivers takes it. It's just a ginormous freaking line in general, but I don't think that's happening this year. So, but it depends on Patrick's got to get healthy, because the one day I was down there, or I went down there twice last week, and I saw the offensive line actually in front of me. Patrick was there. He had a leg sleeve on, and he wasn't participating. So best ability is availability. He's got to be healthy, and he's got to take the snaps.
Yeah, and that's the unfortunate part about some of these guys that the Bengals have signed in the offseason. They've been some injury-prone guys, right? The Leo Collins of the world, the Lucas Patricks. We like to sign guys that have, some upside, but they're cheaper on the offensive line because you want to save and you want to spend elsewhere. And That's not the right. And our organization has never shown us that they truly value guard.
No,
They've never shown
never.
it.
No,
Never.
ask Kevin Zeitler, who, my opinion, still should be a Bengal, but he's not. He's bounced around the league and he's still playing.
Eric Steinbach, Kevin Zeitler. They did re-sign Clint Bowling because he was a do-everything guy. They kind of really like those. But even Bobby Williams. I mean, there's so many guys you can point to on the interior that were great players that didn't end up getting a second contract for the Bengals.
Yeah, and I mean, the one time they did go out and sign a guard, they signed Alex Kappa, which everybody, he was terrible. Alex Kappa was good his first couple of years. He just got hurt. That's Alex Kappa's problem.
Once he had the foot in 22, I mean, that messed him up.
He'll be healthy with the Raiders and have a great year.
I feel like after that point, he just had no leverage to stand on. Like he fell a lot last year. Like if people were really watching, there were so many times where Burrow gets hit in the backfield before he releases the football, and you're like, okay, well, what happened? It's Alex Kappa's on his back again.
Yep. That our guard play was awful. I mean, I've had people on here say, well, I'm kind of worried about our tackles. I am not worried about our tackles at all. I ain't worried about our tackles. I'm not worried about Ted Karras. I mean, as long as they stay healthy, that's the only thing that worries me is I mean, I do think our offensive line has more depth now than it's had in the Joe Burrow era, but I don't really want to test it. I want those guys just to be swing tackles and not actually start. I want to be able to get this figured out. Let's get to Dustin. Got another comment here. Let me go to Taylor here first. Here we go. It says I might be alone on this, but this might be the most important season opener. First for real since we had Joe Burrow. I don't know if it's any more important because last couple years we keep saying they got to get off to a good start. We've been saying that, so I don't know if it's any more important or it's just as important. They got to get off to a good start. I mean, I've said that the last 5 years.
I think where Taylor's going with this is the Bengals have to show urgency right out of the gate. Mm-hmm. As an offense, as a defense, they have to play with urgency, and they have to treat this first game like it's a playoff game. We're going in, win or go home. And if you go home, there's going to be a lot of questions and a lot of statements being made about this team.
Because we gave away the game last year. We gave it to the Patriots. We gave it to them. I mean, first, I would say we gave away the Chiefs game. The refs took that one from us. But that Patriots game, I mean, and it came back to bite us. We win that one, we're into freaking playoffs.
There's so many mistakes that happened in that game, though. The Tanner Hudson fumble, the Charlie Jones fumble right out of half that ended up costing us points, all the missed tackles that we had. The running back who gained 126 yards after contact, Ramondre Stevenson.
I'm trying to forget all that stuff. Game on.
But it kind of feeds the point, right? They got to show urgency. They got to play with fire coming out of the gate. This is how the Bengals get respect around the league, and this is how people say, "Holy shit!" The Bengals, they're back. Yeah, they're for real.
And it won't take that long. They get off to a 2-1 start, 3-2 start. Which I mean, I'm like last couple of years, I've looked at the schedule. I'm like, we're going to be 3-0, 6. I'm like, I'm not doing that. We should have been. I said last year we should have been 1-1. I thought we were going to beat New England. I thought we were going to lose. Actually, no, I take that. I said we were going to be 2-0. I thought we were going to go to Kansas City and win, which I was damn near right. We should have won both of them, to be honest. We should have been 2-0, to be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, if you really want to look back at it. Let me get to Dustin here. Okay. I think this NFL season is going to show why you want young teams. Look at the Chiefs end of last year. The O-line, Kelsey, Mahomes looked like they were running in cement, so you got to rely on the young. Which, okay, I don't know if this is where Dustin's going with it, but that's where I go to this young defense. Mm-hmm. We've got how many first and second round picks that haven't lived up to the standards that we expected from them. Al Golden can make a difference and change that for us. And there's been so many times that I've seen NFL teams like, oh my goodness, they went and they got a young defense, a young secondary. These guys are playing awesome, and that's what the Bengals need this year. They need this defense to step up. These young, and that's where the youth is. The youth is on the defensive side of the ball. That's what Al Golden's brought in here to do.
Well, you look at the Bills, right? I mean, they would never have known that Terrell Bernard was going to be a great player unless Milano gets hurt, and then You look at Christian Benford, would never saw the field if Elam had excuse after excuse after excuse made for him because he was a high draft pick. I mean, these teams across the board, the high level teams, have a lot of really young players that have shown. I mean, look at the Eagles, right? Cooper DeJean, Quinion Mitchell, both of them coming in first, second round pick. Huge hits for their defense.
Yeah,
I mean, that made all the difference in the world for them to be able to get after the quarterback, to defend the receivers. I mean, you got to rely on the youth, as you said.
I mean, if you look at three out of our last 4 first-round picks have been defense. You got Dax Hill, Miles Murphy, then we had Mims, and then this year we got Shamar Stewart. Yeah. Those are three first-round picks on this defensive line or defensive side of the ball. They need to make impacts. And I think I've said this before, if Dax did not get hurt last year, I think he would have been our top corner on the outside. I thought he was looking really good. Miles, I don't know. I'm praying to God that he does and he steps up. We need him to. Shamar, he's got to get his ass in the camp because he wants to go prove all these people wrong. Well, brother, sitting out of practice ain't helping you. So
yeah, and I mean, with Miles, as long as you're a disruptor, and same thing with Shamar, and you allow your defense to get opportunity because of the disruption, I mean, that's what's really, really important. Sacks are important, but also the disruption, forcing the quarterback to have to make a difficult throw. That's what I want to see out of both those guys this year.
Exactly. Let's see. I know. Was it? So we had a good one here. Oh, okay. Chris, did anyone catch the Locked On episode? Are they really asking if Zach seat is getting hot? I've said this. I said this once. He came out and said that it was his decision to fire Pollock and fire Lou. To me, that puts him in the hot seat. Now, will he? I think it depends. If they miss the playoffs next year, depending on how the season goes, will he get fired? I don't know. But if it's a really bad season, yeah, Zach could be gone. I mean, in my opinion, Zach put himself on the hot seat. I mean, that's just my opinion.
I think they consult with Burrow on this. I don't know which way it's going to go because I think it really depends on how the season goes, how the players play. Last season, I think it was kind of a wash for him because the offense was great and they still ended up going on 5 straight wins. That just kind of tells you, hey, even though guys were tapped out on defense, they even said, we didn't believe in the message that Lou was kind of representing up there.
Right.
Once they took the reins away from Lou, they simplified the defense, which we've talked about. I mean, they played really, really well. The youth kind of showed out. Offense was much better.
They weren't thinking. They were just reacting. And that's the thing. If you're playing football, you can't. I don't want to say you can't think, but you just got to know the answer. You don't have to think. Oh, okay, I got to go here. I got to go here. And the ball stops. You got to know. All right, they're doing this. I got to be here. You got to be there. Everybody's got to be on the same page. And that was not what happened last year until the end. And when he flying, they were just flying to the ball and playing, and that's what we need to happen. Now, King here saying talking about preseason or getting off to a good start. He said the only way that happens is if they let guys play in the preseason. They have to get quality snaps, quality drives, and build some momentum. I agree with that to a certain extent. Now, see, this is what I think has messed this whole thing up. So before, when we had 4 preseason games, everybody had a standard. You did this, and then the third game was the pre-opener or whatever. Your starters would play most of the first half, or at least most of the first quarter. That's what you would do, and they would get ready. Since we only got 3, I think it's kind of screwed stuff up where people have got more, oh my God, we can't get guys hurt, which you can't. I mean, if Joe Burrow or T or Mims or goes out there and gets hurt, it's going to suck. But to me, that and it's important for me, the offensive line in general, they need to play together. It's 2 new guards coming in there. They need to be hitting the ground running. Joe needs to play a little more. Now, Joe is historically a slow starter. He really doesn't get going until November. He is jackpot. He is cooking. Now, can we get that to start in October? That'd be great. And that's the thing. It's Richard Skinner said this on my show before from Local 12. He said, what they're doing, they stink in September and October, but by November, December, January, they're rolling, and they are
grinding.
the
That's
best
right.
team in football. Which last year they were one of the best teams in football toward the end of the year. They were, despite how the defense was playing. They were, or one of the hottest teams. I'll put it that way. Maybe not the best. They were one of the hottest teams, and so you don't want to. You still want them to hit that peak in November and rolling into December, rolling into the playoffs. You want them hitting that peak. We just got to bring our play up a notch or two in the first couple months. We ain't got to be at 100. It'd be great, but it's a long season. We don't have to be at 100 in September. If we're, 95, that'd be great. We're like, 87, in the first couple of years. We need to be up a little higher and get, because we just talked about the 2 games last year that we could have won, and we didn't play very good. And Kansas City, I think they played pretty good, but the Patriots game, they didn't play very good at all. They still could have won that game.
Right.
Or should
have. So starting strong, starting fast, that's super important. I think there are so many camp battles to be had early. I think when you look at the 4 corners that we have right now, we really don't know who's going to start at this point. No. Because there's been a lot of points made about
they had Cam Taylor Britt on the inside, which that was shocking.
Cam Taylor Britt on the inside. He was lining up at safety in a cover 3.
Right.
I mean, these are fun and exciting conversations. I wonder if it's going to be more of a rotation there. But there's so many camp battles that I do think there's going to be first team and second team are going to play a lot in this preseason, because we have battles at multiple spots. I think there could be a true battle if Geno Stone isn't looking so hot early in preseason. I think there could be a battle between Dejon Anthony and him. I really do.
Dustin brought this up. He thinks they're going to pick up a guard as it cuts. I think I'm always 100% they're going to pick up a safety.
Yeah,
they have to. And I love Dejon Anthony and I love Tyson Anderson. I love those guys. But you got to add to that room.
Unless they feel like they're corners, because they said Marco, they said Fig, Cam, Dax. All of these guys can play inside and out. Unless they feel like, hey, all those guys could play third safety in the box and be like an extra nickel, they should go out and get another safety. But also the other thing, too, on the offensive side of the ball, we've got Jermaine Burton against Yoshi. And it's kind of a really underrated matchup between those 2 guys, because they've been really talking up Jermaine thus far. They've been talking him up.
Joe's went out of his way to mention Jermaine and Dre. Yoshi. He
coaching
Dre.
Staff.
Yeah.
Zac Taylor.
That's where I'm like, dude, if you can add, and again, I keep going back to people who've been on my show, but Yai Chaveras, who's on Local 12, brought this point up that he doesn't want Chase to get the Triple Crown again this year. At first you hear that, I'm like, really? Why? And he goes, well, because you want the ball spread out. If you can get the ball to T more, you get the ball to Mike G more, Yoshi more, Chase Brown more, Burton more, you got more weapon. You're spreading that ball around where they have no clue who's going to be open. Instead of double teaming Jamar, I'm like, all right, I'll hit Yoshi over the middle. I'll hit Jermaine deep. I'll hit Mike G.
Right.
I'll hit Chase Brown out of the backfield. These are things that they can do. They're like, okay, well, crap, we can't double team him, so they got to play everybody straight up. You play this team straight up, bro? Good luck.
Yeah, I love it. I think linebacker. I think there could be a really big battle at linebacker, because it feels like Demetrius Knight's going to win the job. But is Oren Burks really the third linebacker, or is it Barrett Carter?
I think right now, I think right now, paper it's Oren Burks, but I think
Oren Burks right now.
But I think Carter's going to take that from him.
That one's going to be a fun matchup between those 2. So you see what I mean? Like, we have at every level, at safety, at corner, at linebacker, even defensive tackle and D end. Who's it going to be? Is it going to be Shed, or is it going to be Cam Sample? On the inside, is it going to be McKinley Jackson on the field, or is it going to be Chris Jenkins on the field as a backup, to BJ Hill? Who's it going to be, right? So there's a lot of battles to happen in this preseason. I think we're going to see a lot of first team, second team. And that's only going to raise the floor of our team, make us a lot better come week 1.
And I've said this before. TJ Slayton already, just his presence alone makes our run defense that much better than it was last year. I'm not going to say 10 times better, but 5% better. I mean,
no. 10% better is true. It's absolutely
better. All right. Because again, I keep quoting this. I got to find the damn stats, but you gotta look up Paul Danner Jr. tweeted these stats out of what TJ Slayton's how the Packers run defense was with him on the field compared to what it was with him out, and it's a big difference.
Right.
And
By PFF, he was ranked number 7 in run defense. PFF.
There you go.
Number
there
7.
You go. Yeah.
And then on top of that, BJ Hill was doubled top 5 most in the league last year at that 2-eye position. Now he's going to be playing back to 3 tech and not being doubled. He won't be doubled. So he may get the best year that we've gotten from BJ Hill. This may be his best year.
Yeah, and then if you get Stewart in here, that I really am hoping they move him around. I want to, because he rushed from the inside, he rushed from the outside. You can really, and just from what Al Golden's doing with Cam Taylor Britt, putting him on the inside, putting him at safety, I think guys are going to move. And to me, that's exciting because if you can blitz from different positions, and they don't know where the blitz is coming from, that's what you want. You don't want it always coming from the outside. All right, we got a spy on Henderson. All you got to do is stop him, which they couldn't last year. If they can go, all right, you got to stop Henderson. All right, they stop Trey. Oh shit, here comes the side. Oh crap, here comes Stewart. I mean, and they got big ass TJ Slayton. They're going, yep, you guys ain't going nowhere because the quarterback won't be able to step up. I mean,
right. All three of those guys too, as well. Like when you talk about battles, Shamar, Joseph Osai, who just got $7 million guaranteed was his contract. So he's getting paid all that money, right? And then Miles Murphy in a contract year.
He's got
all 3 of those guys. They're going to raise the floor of each one of them. And they're all, I think they'll all play inside out. I think all 3 of them.
They have to. Osai's on a 1-year deal. Mark Murphy's his last year. Those 2, it's a big make or break year to their NFL career. And we keep forgetting this. Cam Sample, I think he was a big loss to this run game last year.
Yeah.
I keep saying run game, run defense last year. He's back in the fold. So, and he's 100% healthy. He's practicing and everything. So I think he's a low key guy that people have forgotten about. Cam's a dog, dude. Cam can play.
All right, let me ask you. Go ahead to the.
I'm going to Dustin here. He has a bold prediction for the NFL this year. You're going to see some of the lowest stats across the board this year. And on the other hand, the run game is going to take off. Must stop the run. I honestly, I think the running game is going to come back because of the Eagles. So I don't disagree with that. Now, with that being said, we're already in a division where they like to run the ball. The run game really hasn't left the AFC North. So that's what hurt us last year when we freaking let DJ Reader go. So I don't disagree with that. I don't know if it's going to be a big jump. I think it's going to be a gradual. If the running backs gradually coming back is what I think. Okay, what was your question?
Okay, so to answer that point, right? Art Smith, offensive coordinator for the Pittsburgh Steelers, heavy run focus. They just drafted Caleb Johnson in the 2nd round, local kid from Cincinnati, played at Iowa. He's going to play a lot. That Steelers team's going to run the football a ton. The Ravens are run-centric, and the Browns will be run-centric. They're not going to ask either one of those rookies or Flacco to take too much on. They're going to run the football. They just signed. They have Judkins and they have Sampson. Those guys are going to get a lot of burn this year. So 100% on that. Trey Hendrickson. I don't know if you talked. Maybe you talked to Skinny about it. Maybe you talked one of the other guys about it. Florio reported. Yes, and I don't know how much you believe, Florio here.
Florio makes a lot of shit up, I think, but go ahead.
The Bengals at 28, and Hendrickson went north of 35. North.
In my opinion, if Trey thinks he's going to get north of 35, he's crazy. Not for the Bengals. He might, if he get free agency, you never know because bidding wars start. There's no way because north of 35, that's Myles Garrett, that's Crosby, that's probably what TJ Watt's going to get.
Right.
And no shade on Trey. Trey's a pass rusher. Those guys they can do everything. Trey doesn't. He's not a run stopper. You don't put him in coverage. I mean, they have, but it doesn't look very good. Right. Trey is what Trey is. Trey's very, very good at what he does. He's 30 years old. North of 35, I don't think. And the thing is, Florio hates the Bengals. I don't believe half the crap that he has ever posted. I mean, he also, what did he say? He said he wanted to be the highest paid wide receiver too. And well, that didn't happen. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff that Florio has said about the Bengals that isn't true. Why the man still has a job, I don't know, because he just makes stuff up that's been proven that's not true.
Right.
I don't think it's north of 35. I think the high end is 35. Of course, Trey wants to get as much money as he can, but I don't think him and his agent are that far. Now, I've heard Adam Schefter, who another guy who I don't think likes the Bengals, is like, oh, they're not even close. I have no idea if they're close or not. I mean, what I've heard from the guys that cover the team, that it is the money, but it's more of the contract length and terms in the contract. That's the most consistent thing that I've heard.
And so let's talk about that for a second.
Okay, so I'll say this. What I think will get it done, I think you give him 3 years at $30 million, I think he's good. Is what I think. But we'll see.
That's where I keep pressing. I keep pressing people within spaces, within this fan base to say, okay, if the Bengals are truly offering 30 to 30 plus to Trey, is he really going to turn that down on a 3-year deal with 2 years guaranteed and retire? I can't, we've been over this. I cannot see him doing that.
And the thing is, like, all right, if he wants to get north of 35, he's got to go to free agency because it's not happening here. The Bengals will not pay him that much money. So does he want to take another year? That's the he wants the stability now. He really wants to stay here. He said he'd go somewhere else if he had to, but he really wants to stay here. Of course he wants what they're going to get. I don't think that's the make or break for this. I do think it's terms, length. I think I probably think he wants like a 4-year contract. I don't think he's getting that from the Bengals. I don't know if he's getting it from
No, he's not. 4 years, 3 guaranteed. One thing Florio did say, though, that I do agree with. If Trey does a hold in the season, right? And he doesn't get on the field for more than 6-7 games this year, I do think he could become another Hassan Reddick, where teams would say, okay, Trey, based off of what you did, we're going to give you a 1-year prove-it deal versus that big, 30 to 35 million, because maybe there's a regression there. Due to the fact that he's not ready for the season, they're going to ease him in. They want him to rotate. He's not only going to play that one position, which I also heard that's also a holdup. Like, he wants to play, just the right side, and they want him to move around. And so that's going to limit, that's going to lower his snap share a little bit.
I think they should move him around to move to the right or the left.
But he doesn't want to be moved around. He wants he wants to rush from the right side.
I mean, I get it. I mean, he's had it's one of those things. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. So it works. So I understand that. I would like to see it because you would get different matchups. You can have him going against a right guard instead of a left guard, and he might not be as good at blocking as the left guard is. So I get that part. Now, one thing I'll say this too is this would be a just crappy move by the Bengals, but they can do it. And this is what they could be holding over Trey's head too, going, look, we can tag you for 2 years, which they can. It's an awful thing to do, but this is where I keep going back. Trey has no leverage. I mean, all they can do is sit out games.
Yeah.
But to me, he's 30 years old. Sitting out games won't help him unless he comes in and he sits out the 5 or 6 games that he can sit out with it counting as the full season. If he does it, he's got to come in and he's got to ball out and prove that, all right, I am that dude again still, and I did it with less games. That's gonna be even harder.
Right.
It's like he doesn't have leverage other than not playing, and I think it just hurts him.
Here's the thing, Ice, with that, because I brought that up the other day too. Like, what if Trey comes back, the Bengals give him a 1-year deal, he ends up taking it, he's making, $33 million this 1 year, and then the Bengals say, we're going to tag you. I hope people understand this. Micah Parsons is about to make $40 million plus, and so is TJ Watt, which means Hendrickson will be in the 35 to 36 range on a tag. because the top 5 players are going to be 35 north.
That is true. So he get even more money at the tackle.
It's a no-lose situation. The only issue for Hendrickson is, you got to keep coming back to the table, and you got to keep renegotiating because we are the Cincinnati Bengals.
Right. I mean, but the good news is that they're back in talks again. And I honestly, I keep going back to this. When Joe Burrow came out and said, "I want T signed, I want Jamar signed, I want Mike G signed, I want Trey signed," that's the only one they haven't signed yet. I'm still sitting there going, Burrow might be going, "Hey, Mr. Brown, Katie, how you guys doing? We had, I'm Joe Burrow. I said I want these guys done. I mean, Lamar Jackson just said he wanted his boy from Louisville back, and they got him. Why can't I get my boy after a teammate? Why can't I get him on my team? What's going on here?"
Is there a reality where Trey is using the Joe Burrow comments, though, in his favor and trying to squeeze as much money as he can from this front office, and he has every intention of signing? He's just posturing at this point.
He might be. I mean, and I'll put just to go back to Stewart. Last year, Mims didn't sign until the 22nd of July last year. So we are in June 19th. If it gets to July 19th, I'll get a little more worried. It gets to August 19th, obviously I'm worried. So there's still time to negotiate. And the thing is, they're back negotiating. The biggest thing I heard from Trey that he was upset about is they were not negotiating. They weren't talking to him.
Right.
They were ghosting him. Now they're talking again. So how long this takes, I don't know, but at least they're talking. That, to me, seems like it's going to get done now. Like I said, last week, I'm like, man, this might be a Jesse Bates thing. Because they didn't talk to Jesse Bates. They just did. They said, "No, we do you 1 year and you're gone." I don't think they're dealing with Trey the same way. I think they want to keep him.
Right.
And Jesse James, who's an NFL agent, said this, that they got basically 2 people that negotiate contracts. They got Katie and they got Troy. Troy is working on the stadium deal and all that stuff. And Katie's the one doing most of the negotiations. Well, she's not one person. So sometimes maybe she can't juggle, prioritize things and negotiate all these contracts. She's like, all right, look, I got to put you on the back burner. We'll join this. You're not going to come to minicamp. Fine. We'll start talking after minicamp. I'm just talking. I don't know for a fact. I'm just saying what Jesse James said, that they don't have as many people negotiating contracts as other teams do.
Sure.
Same thing as scouts. We don't have as many other people do. Other teams do. So I'm just throwing stuff out there.
Which, by the way, Ice, we have 11 days. We've got 11 days to get an agreement in place on that stadium.
Yeah.
Hey, I've heard it's a 10-year lease. I hear we're close, but it's been really quiet, and this is Hunter Green right here. You remember Dick Williams, Hunter Green? I mean, it was 5 minutes before the deadline that the paperwork got put in, and we didn't know 7 minutes until after the deadline that he actually got signed.
Right. I mean, the thing is, like, all this talk, like, oh, the Bengals might move. The Bengals are not going to move. This city, I won't say would die, but dude, it would be such a huge blow to this city to let the Cincinnati Bengals leave.
Right.
I don't think it's happening. One thing I did think I found was interesting is they want to upgrade the stadium we have now, but they do want in the future a new stadium, is what I heard too. So how long, if that's 10 years, 20 years from now, I don't know. But that's and honestly, I'm like, I love it on the river. I don't want it to go anywhere else. I like if you build a new stadium, tear it down and go put it in Nippert and then build a new stadium down there. But that'll be interesting. That's further on down the line. But it's going to come down to the last moment. It's the Bengals. It's
everything Cincinnati. It's always the last minute.
Exactly.
Guys. We can't get anything done early, and if we do, we get crapped on for it.
Right, exactly. Oh my God, you signed him for that much? What's wrong with you? Oh, okay.
All right. Well, yeah, exactly.
Well, it's like, all right. So I want to get back to this. We're talking about on the spaces there. Who was the girl who brought up the Ellie De La Cruz?
Oh yeah. Lindsay.
Lindsay brought that up. I think Lindsay usually watches my show, comments on here. Now one thing she brought up is, we talked about. I've said this that the Reds are not. They could afford to pay him. They're not going to. They're
right.
Unless they can sign him and get rid of all his arbitration stuff. Boris, his agent's not going to let that happen. Boris wants to get the free agency and be the first $1 billion player or however much money he's going to get. And I've had this argument with people, and it drives me freaking nuts. People are like, well, trade him now. I'm like, for what? For prospects that we can't afford when they get back up here and they start making money? No, we have a really good. They lost today. We have a really good team right now.
Really good.
What they should do is take these prospects they have in AA, in single A, held down in AAA. And they should have done this offseason. Take some of them, trade them for some veteran guys. If we can have veteran bats on this offense, it would be awesome.
Right.
That's what they need to do. And look, if we let Ellie go, we let McClain go and all this, but we've got a World Series out of this, fine. Mm-hmm. That's what you need to do.
I mean, it's a small market team, man.
You can't just keep going, oh, this is a really great player. We'll just trade him for more prospects. Okay, cool. Then the prospects come up, they get really good. Oh, can't afford them either because we paid 2 players.
Right.
One was Ken Griffey Jr., who's my favorite player. And that was Barry Larkin. And Carl Linder, who owned the Reds, paid nobody else. Nobody.
Right.
And we got nothing. You got to go watch Barry Larkin and Ken Griffey Jr. play. That's all you got.
And the best year that they had out of that team was the 99 season with Greg Vaughn, where they signed him on a 1-year deal. And they ended up getting zeroed by Al Leiter in the wild card.
You know what they did? They traded prospects for a veteran guy. They went out and they traded Brett Boone and Reggie Sanders and got the pitcher, the left-handed pitcher. I can't remember his name now. They got him. I don't remember who they traded for Greg Vaughn, and they got him from, I think, San Diego. But, I mean, they traded assets that other teams wanted to get veteran players. That's what made that team. Now we turn around and traded a whole bunch of guys off that team to get Ken Griffey Jr., which I was completely for. I was ecstatic. But we had absolutely no pitching. Now, we have pitching.
Right.
We got pitching out the ass. We've got all kinds of pitching. And we're finally starting to hit. But the thing is, you got all these young guys. It's like I compare it to this, like the 2010 team. We didn't really make the playoffs there until we got Scott Rowland. Scott Rowland showed Joey Votto, Jay Bruce, what it takes to get over that hump, to get into the playoffs, to get in a playoff run. Yeah, we have Terry Francona, but Terry Francona can only do so much. You need veteran players.
Right.
That's where I don't like. You have, like Lindsay said, well, she had the Houston Astros. Well, yeah, the Astros. They build their team up, one World Series, but they keep adding and they bring guys
they're
up.
drafting really
and then
well.
They're drafting well, but they're also adding. I mean, look at the pitchers they added. And they had Matt Verlander. They didn't draft him.
Justin Verlander.
Justin Verlander, thank you.
Mid 30s.
Yeah,
had his best baseball.
Right. So I mean,
remember the Reds. The 2 big ones that I can recall. The big trade for Matt Latos. That was such a huge trade. I mean, bringing an ace on from the Padres and him being the guy.
And we traded our young guys for. We traded the first baseman. He's on MLB Network now. He was our young upcoming first baseman, and he had a good young. And that's how we got Latos. That's what you have to do. You take these prospects. You continue to draft well, so hopefully you replenish them. Right. But you take these assets that you have because Ellie's not going anywhere for a while. Matt McClain's not going anywhere. CES, we see how Marte where he comes. I mean, we got guys that aren't going anywhere for a while. They're going to be here. They're not going to hit free agency for a while.
It might be, TJ Friedel. He might be the one that they kind of have to trade in order, to get multiple guys to be like the future guys.
Chase Burns is down in AAA throwing 106 miles an hour.
Dude, he's so good. He's Paul Skeens level good, dude.
Yeah,
he's that good.
I mean, you could trade him. I'm not saying I definitely want to do it, but that's who you could trade. You got Rhett Lauder, you could trade. You got Cam Collier, you could trade.
Yeah.
There's guys down there.
Yeah,
South Stewart. There's guys down there that you could trade. Maybe not now during the season, but the off season when teams like, I really don't want to have this contract for this year. And you get a guy on a 1-year deal who's a veteran who could come in and help your ball club. That's what you do.
Yeah. Yeah, it's unfortunately the Reds, they're kind of in this spot where they don't know what they want to do, and they're just saying, "Oh, well, we're just going to stand pat and wait for guys to come back."
They're not even in a position to. They don't have to trade these guys.
Yeah,
I mean, maybe they're arbitration eligible, but none of them are coming up for big ass contracts. I mean,
it would have been nice to have a huge bat in the outfield,
yes,
though, right? Like,
yes,
so
be great.
Austin Hayes, if he would have just stayed healthy, that would have been a great. That would have been a great signing, and everybody would have said, "Oh, that was a fantastic signing."
A guy like Greg Vaughn. Greg Vaughn made a huge difference in that 99 team.
He had like 40 home runs that year.
Yeah.
And like 120 RBIs.
Yeah, and he played in the World Series. He went to the World Series with the Padres in 98. So he knows how to get there. Those are the guys you need to get. I mean, to help Ellie along, to help, it's just I just get really irritated when people are like, "Oh, we got to trade Elliott." Like, for who? Like, that just doesn't make any sense for me. I'm like, Lindsay, if you're watching, I love you. Like, that's
kind of your rebuild, move. And again, that's what I was saying the other day. People were saying, trade Friedel. He's a free agent after 27 or 28. It's like, what we honestly, what we should have done is we should have traded, or we should have signed, the White Sox outfield.
I know. That's when we can talk about the offseason. I cannot remember his
not name. Jimenez, the other one.
The center fielder.
Yep. And I think at one point he was in the Reds farm system and he got out. Or
they were talking about it, but I think they wanted too much for him that the Reds didn't want to give up.
Or we were internationally trying to sign him and he ended up choosing the White Sox. But 100%, dude. Like, you got to be able to, and this is what the Reds do, and it really grinds my gears. We trade for a dude that's in their 30s plus, and they used to be good, like the Will Myers of the world and the Donovan Solanos, and they're like, "Oh, it's a big name, we'll throw him in." Matt Kemp on the back end of his career.
I mean, trading Ellie, we all got pissed off at the Reds before.
Yeah,
he said, "Where else are you going to go?" When they let my boy Nick Castellanos leave, they traded. Oh God, I can't think of his name now. Our other All-Star that year, who we brought up, the outfielder, Jesse Winker. We traded him.
Yeah,
we let somebody else. We traded freaking everybody after 2020 when we made the playoff. Suarez, we traded Suarez. We traded all these guys. I'm like, what are we doing? So we're rebuilding to who Ellie, I think, is going to be eventually the best player in baseball. You're going to trade him before he, hits the open market to get what? To rebuild again?
Right.
No.
We're a small market team. When you're a small market team,
I don't want to hear
that.
You have they yes, we are, but they could spend. They only had to go sign a free agent with 1 or 2 free agents. That wouldn't have broke the bank. You could have done that.
But when you're a small market team, this is the point. When you're a small market team and you have stars on your roster, we have stars on our roster. We've got a lot of young pitchers that are playing really well. You have to be able to build around those guys and try to go for it with the time that they have on your roster, because you're not going to be able to extend them. The only case where we were able to was the Votto, Brandon Phillips case.
Right? All right, go back to that. But they signed Votto.
Right.
And who?
Exactly.
Nobody.
During that time, it was Votto and Phillips. And then after Phillips, there was nobody that it could sign in free agency because they said all of our money's tied up in those two.
We don't have any money. Right. Yeah. Brad here, thinking about the Bengals not talking with Trey. The Reds did not talk to Castellanos when he was, I hated that.
Nick wanted to be here.
Nick wanted to stay here. Yeah,
Nick said, I was waiting for the phone call, and I never got it. That's crazy, dude.
Yeah, I'm like, we couldn't afford it. I'm like, how do you know? He might have taken less money. I don't know if he would have or not, but if you don't pick up the phone call and ask.
He opts out of his qualifying offer, and we were like, okay, well, that was like $20 million. And so we were like, okay, well, we'll have to go north of $20 million. We're not going to do that.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, we just paid Nick Martinez, who gave up, 7 runs today? $21 million.
Yeah. Yeah, no.
How about that? How about that Frankie Muntas signing last year for 16, 17 million?
Martinez might be the guy if they're sellers. He might be the guy they trade.
Oh my gosh!
I guarantee he'd be the guy they trade.
Every guy that's like right on the under the 20 mark, but like 16, 17. Every decision we've ever made there is just bad. Moustakas. We ended up getting Shogo. We ended up bringing on Muntas. Obviously, we re-signed Martinez on the qualifying offer. I mean,
and that's all wasted money because we didn't get anything out of those guys.
Jaime Candelario, who's supposed to be back in like 4 days, 3 days.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, I don't.
Nick's like the only one. 16 and a half.
Yeah, but when Chamber comes back, I don't know where the hell you're going to play him.
Right.
That's my. I'm like.
I
guess third base maybe since they've been putting oh crap, what's his face out there?
My guess is Hampson is out and he's in.
Maybe
that's my guess.
He's not going to play every day. I mean, hopefully CES starts hitting the cover off the ball again. He was when he got a couple hits today or got one hit today.
Before his home run last night, Candelario was OPS 494. It's awful. He can't get on base. He's swinging at everything.
That's in the minors.
Yeah. Triple A.
Yeah. We'll see. Well, I mean, hey, the Reds are playing good right now. They lost today, but they're playing good. They're only a game and a half, 2 games out of the wild card right now. I mean,
right. A game. So it was a half a game yesterday. So it'll be a game and a half if the Padres win tonight.
Right.
But man, I mean, when you go on that kind of run, I hope that you give up 12 runs in one game because that means, hey, your bullpen was solid for 5 games and they bad for 1. I'll take the one bad night for another 5 great games again.
And the thing, what I do like is the offense didn't quit. They scored 5 runs. So that's one thing that, to me, that has been the biggest problem with this team this year is there's no consistency in their offense, none whatsoever. It started last, I'd say, 4 weeks, it's been more consistent.
We're turning it on. We're turning it on.
Yes, which is good. That's because, dude, how many times we see where they score 15 runs and then they go a week and we'd lose 1-run games or get shut out. It's like,
right.
It was
I gotta send you. I gotta send you the Francona cycle. Somebody sent me the Francona cycle.
Oh, yeah.
Apparently, like right now. So everything that we've been experiencing up to this point is dead on what that cycle shows. Right now is the time where he absolutely cooks, and he's cooking right now with this team. I mean, people were like, "Oh, Spencer Steer in the 4-hole, 2-run homer last night." People are like, "You know what? I'm going to shut up. I'm not going to say anything else."
You got to send me that. You got to say, "Hey, what's the Jamar Chase video that they were talking about in the space today?" What?
Yeah, man. Just really quick on that. He was on an airplane, flying coach. A guy asked him to sign an autograph for his kid. He declined. And so the guy put him on TikTok. He called him out on the plane and said, "Hey, everybody, this is Jamar Chase. Sorry you're getting outed, but you're a jerk." And then after the fact, he had a song that said F you, F you, F you. And he had a letter written to his son saying, "Sorry, Jamar Chase didn't sign your jersey." And I'm like, I opened up the space to remind people, if you're a fan, you have to understand there are times where players are available for autographs, and there's time for personal time for them where it's okay for them to say no. Right. They are not at our beck and call.
No.
And they should not feel like we're entitled to them. Ever.
No, I hate that when people are like, "Oh, he's a jerk. He didn't sign this." Like, yeah, but he signed 5 other ones up there. Like, just because he makes so much money. Who gives a rat's ass? He wants to have as normal life as he can. Sometimes they should be left alone. I'm like,
yeah,
I clicked on the video. I mean, I looked like he was trying to be incognito. He had his hoodie.
Right, his hoodie was over his head. It was clear he didn't want to be seen. He didn't want to be talked to. He probably had his headphones in.
Yeah.
And this guy was just giving him a hard time. Honestly, I feel like the fan looked really, really bad in that
video. He looks like a dick to me.
And it's just a good reminder for us that, the players are not here for us. They don't have to cater to us. They don't have to be available for us. They have their own lives.
Yeah, and dude, I would tell you, like, if you are normal, Just like that. Like if he's sitting there, like the little bit I did see it, because you guys were on Spaces, so I couldn't hear the sound. If he's sitting there like this, and he's got his hood over his head, and he's trying not to be seen, you can see that. Like, oh
yeah,
you go, oh, I think that's Jamar. All right, I don't think he wants to be. I think he wants to be left alone. Move on.
Right.
Like, oh, sorry, your kid didn't get a Jamar Chase sign. Sorry, he doesn't owe you anything. And that I hate when people do that because, like, well, you make so much money, you're a professional athlete. Dude, they're human. Like, would you want somebody? Like, just say somebody comes to your job. Hey, I want your autograph. I can't right now. I'm busy. You're an asshole. Okay, sorry. I mean, I'm busy.
Hey, we got to remember too. These athletes have a lot to lose, so they got to be really careful.
Then they're getting pulled in so many directions too. They got to go. I mean, despite what people think, football is a really hard job. I mean, they are there. The break they're getting right now, they're on vacation. So this is the only vacation they'll get from starting in the last week in July till hopefully for the Bengals in February. That's a lot. And there's no breaks. They don't get Christmas off. They don't get Thanksgiving off. They don't get nothing off. It's football every day. They're in there at 8 o'clock in the morning till, I don't know, 5, 6, 7, 8 at night. They're in the classrooms more than they're practicing. They're lifting weights. Like even on their vacation, they're still not on vacation. They got to go work out. They got to do stuff so they can stay in shape. Like people kill me. They think, oh my God, you got it so easy. Like, dude, it's hard to be a professional athlete and to stay a professional athlete is hard freaking work. How many times have we seen where guys get lazy and they're out of the league? Baseball, basketball, any of them. You get lazy, and for one instant, they're gonna find somebody who's younger, cheaper, and better than you.
The point that I made last night at the game, they were giving out Ellie De La Cruz bobbleheads, and there were pictures of guys with about 8 or 9 of them, and they were selling them on eBay for $90 a piece, man. So these athletes, they understand. If a grown-up is coming up to them, asking them for an autograph, and it's not during team time, they're going to ignore them, right? If it's a child, it could be a different situation. If it's a 10-year-old or, younger, A-okay, right? But if it's an older gentleman, ignore.
And
I'm on my own time.
It didn't look like Jamar was even being rude. It just kind of looked up. He's like, I like I said, I didn't hear what he said.
Right. He didn't say anything. He just... He handled it the right way. He just ignored him.
Yeah, it's just like, that means go away.
Right.
Like, leave me alone. I get the wing here. She says, I'm around the players along the bases, and it bothers me so much. I'm sure it bothers them to be handled like that all the time. Yeah. And that guy thinks, well, you're Jamar Chase. My son is here. You should sign his shirt, or you should, because of who you are. No, dude, he doesn't have to do anything. I mean, Jamar's done a lot of good stuff, and he signs a lot of stuff. Just go outside practice. They stop and sign a lot of times. I mean, and sometimes they'll skip the adults. They just want to go sign the kids, which I have no problem. I mean, I never asked for autographs.
I love that. I honestly love it.
Yeah, I never asked for autographs. I'm just usually them to say, hey, good practice. Hope you have a good season. You want to come on the podcast? Stuff like that.
Right.
It's what I'm doing, So, but I'm not, because they get, dude, I just, like, and if they're sitting there eating dinner, you're like, oh, hey, that's Jamar. Oh.
This is why Burrow leads the life that he does. This is why Burrow operates incognito.
Burrow could not, that's Jamar Chase. Burrow couldn't go anywhere, dude, especially in the city.
No,
dude,
private plane.
I'm kind of surprised Jamar didn't take. Jamar might take private plane now from now on, which that is kind of interesting. He was riding coach. He's got
right
to do a private plane. He might want to do that from now on. But that drives me nuts. It's just when people think because you make a whole bunch of money and I pay to watch you play, you owe me something.
Yeah.
Dude, those players don't owe you nothing. They do not owe you a damn thing. They worked their ass off to get to where they're at. They made the sacrifices to get it done. They still make the sacrifices to get it done. They don't owe you nothing. That's it.
Right.
All right, brother. We're an hour and 4 minutes. I think we're going to end this here. Tell everybody where they can follow you when your spaces are on.
At Game On J Money on Twitter and I do a space every morning, every night, usually in the mornings, right around 8:30, 9 o'clock. And then at night, probably around 5:30, depending on, traffic. We're on our way home, though. It's in the car with game on at home, or, at night versus in the morning. So great time, and talk everything Bengals, all the fun stuff.
That's why I jumped on the space going, don't you have to be somewhere at 5:30? What are you doing?
No, I wasn't going to leave you hanging this time, dude.
That's good. I appreciate it. All right, Game On. Appreciate you, brother.
All right, brother.
Hooday.
Take care. Hooday.
All right, guys. Hope you enjoyed that much as I did. Go follow Game On Twitter. Go follow him and join his spaces. They do a great job on there, and it's been an interesting conversation. And most of the time that I've been on there, it's not a whole bunch of people screaming and yelling at each other, because I don't like spaces like that when all I hear is people yelling at each other, cussing at each other. I'm like, all right, I'm out of here, because you can't hear what anybody says. So discussions are great. Arguments suck. Thanks for watching. I've been live streaming on YouTube, Facebook, X, Twitch. You can follow me on all those, along with Instagram, Threads, and TikTok. I will be pulling the sound off later on tonight. Put it on the podcast. Do me a favor. Check it out. It's on BeanPod, Apple iTunes, Spotify, Google, Stitcher Play, pretty much wherever you get your podcast. Please make sure you leave a comment and a 5-star review so more Cincinnati fans can find my podcast, because I'm only getting like 2 or 3 people listening to it. So I get more. That'd be great. I'd appreciate it, because it does take me a little bit to get it on there. Shout out to my sponsors of the show. They are as followed: Priority Lawn and Landscaping. For all your lawn and landscaping needs, think Priority Lawn and Landscaping. You got that paver patio you want to get done, that retaining wall you want done. You got grass you just don't want to cut. Mulch you want to get spread. You just want to buy mulch or anything like that. Think Priority Lawn and Landscaping. Actually, don't think it. Call them at 513-430-6114. That's 513-430-6114. You can also follow them on Facebook. I always say this: make sure you follow on Facebook so you can see videos and pictures of the jobs that they've done. And when you call them or message them on Facebook, tell them you heard about them from Sports with Strawberry Ice. Shows also brought to you by T Properties, quality housing for quality people. Check out the website at www.tpropertiesllc.com for all your rental property management needs and your rental needs. And, of course, Meyer Door, Window, and more. You check them out at MeyerCincinnati.com for all your window and door needs. I got them in my house. I highly recommend you give me yours. So energy efficient, beautiful windows, easy to clean. Dealing with Maddie Myers and Neil are awesome. Again, check them out. MeyerCincinnati.com. The shout out to my favorite brewery in the city, Moorline Lager House. Tonight, they got Roebling on the River. They got a great band out there. I've put it out on my Facebook, who's out there. Actually, they're playing right now. They started at 6:30. So you can get some delicious Moorline beer, enjoy the nice summer air, sit right along the river, listen to some music. It's a great, great spot. It's one of the best spots. I think it's the best spot on the banks, Moorline Lager House. So make sure you go there, drink some delicious beer, eat some food. And again, hey, if you see the owner or anybody there, you guys ever heard of Sports Strawberry Ice? Like, yeah, he told me to come here. It's Moorline Lager House. Thanks, guys, for watching. It's been awesome. I will be back tomorrow. All right, so tomorrow's Friday, right? Yeah, tomorrow's Friday. So tomorrow the show will be at 2 o'clock. I got Charlie Clifford from Channel 5 Sports will be on. So like I always say, subscribe to the show on YouTube. Hit the bell for notification, because every time I go live, you'll be notified. So tomorrow, my show is at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And if you forget, you're like, oh, hey, Ice is coming on at 2. We can watch it there. So make sure you do that. Charlie Clifford will be on. It'll be an awesome time. Give his thoughts on all things Bengals, Reds, and just Cincinnati sports in general. Other than that, remember this: Hooday for life. Throw it up. That's just sports, baby. See ya!
Weekend nights, the city roars. Tune in loud, turn up some more. Cincinnati show, it's time to play. Sports with Strawberry Ice today. 5:30 sharp, don't be late. CTV, the sports awaits. Strawberry Ice, he's on the mic, energy, it's pure delight. Every touchdown, every goal. Feel the heart beats strong. Strawberry ice will lead the throng. Every touchdown, every goal, feel the pulse that's in your soul. Cincinnati heart beats strong. Strawberry ice will lead the throng. Feel the crowd, it's electric now. Shouting loud, they all know how. The CTV got what we crave. Sports with ice, it's waves and waves. Tigers strike and Bengals roar. Every game we want some more.